What's up, you guys? It's Rob here. Today, we're going to be talking about a recently released NSCC 2021-006. It's a filing to make clarifications and corrections and certain other changes to essentially all of their filings before. And the huge thing is we want to take a look at this and say, make clarifications, corrections, and certain other changes. Well, that's really interesting because a lot of these filings are focused around the deposits and all that kind of stuff and all that. So what clarifications, corrections, and other changes are they wanting to make? Well, we'll dive into that in a quick second. But first, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, make sure that you ring that bell too for the YouTube algorithm. Really helps me out. But to take a look at this, and the huge thing I want to say is this hasn't passed yet. This does not have the SEC approval notice. It does not have a federal release here. So this has not been federally released yet. This is just step one. It needs to be heard for comments. And then if the SEC approves it, they'll put their stamp of approval here. As of right now, it is not approved. So keep that in mind. Also, this is the NSCC part proposing this. This is not the DTC. So you have to keep in mind the DTCC has subsidiaries of the DTC and the NSCC. And then I believe there's, the FICC. So it has different parts to it. So we have to keep that in mind. These different parts are going to propose different rules because they want to be clear about each and every single filing that they have put through. Because when it comes to a court of law, any vague terms, it's going to be up for debate, and that's not necessarily good for helping you win your case if you're on either side of it. You want things to be crystal clear so that there is no way that someone can misinterpret it in any way, shape, or form. But let's go ahead and talk about this whole filing and exactly what they want to do. So, like I said, there's 5 different sections that we'll go through here. So, propose and correct or clarify the use of certain defined terms in the rules. Make certain clarifications in the rules, make technical changes to the rules, add a disclaimer regarding trademarks and service marks in the rules, and certain notice provisions in relation to the rule changes, each we'll describe down in here. So there's 5 different parts of this. So part 1 here, proposal to correct the use of certain defined terms in the rules. So make things, like I said, more clear. That's the whole objective here. Because when AMC and GME do eventually squeeze, you bet there's going to be some form of legal action between either hedge funds and the DTCC and the NSCC, and who knows exactly. But there's definitely going to be legal action, and what the NSCC is doing now is saying, okay, we're going to make everything crystal clear, so in case if anything goes south in the situation, we're protected, and that's good risk management on the NSCC. So the huge thing to take a look at here is clarify the definition of the board and board of directors in Rule 1 to ensure that it is clear and both terms are defined and have the same meaning. So crystal clear, same terms have the same meaning. If we hop down here to section 2, proposal to make clarification to the rule in the rules. So changing acting on delegated authority to acting under delegated authority in the common definition of board and board of directors in the Rule 1 to reflect more common phraseology. So keep in mind, when you have most companies, you have the chiefs and then they have some form of board, and then you have the board of directors, which influence the company, and the CEO is often answering to the board of directors. So to have this acting under delegated authority is definitely something that will be needed. The next rule change that we're going to be taking a look at here is the proposal to make certain technical changes in the rules. So conform the abbreviation SEC for section or identify the sections in Rules 42, 44, 60, and the use of letters to identify subsections in Section 4 of Rule 60 to be consistent with other rules. So just once again, clarifying each and every single term in there, any abbreviation, so nothing can be misinterpreted. That's the huge thing. It's what this is really getting down to. proposal to add a disclaimer regarding trademarks and service marks in the rules. So just basically saying this is our rule set. They're slapping their trademark down on it. So NSCC is proposing to add a disclaimer in the footnote to Rule 1 regarding trademarks and service marks that appear or may appear in the future rules. NSCC has adapted the disclaimer that appears in the terms of use page on the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation DTCC. The website for this purpose, the disclaimer would state that one, all products and services provided by the NSCC referenced in the rules are either registered trademarks or service marks of, or trademarks or service marks of DTCC or affiliates, and other names of companies, products, services appearing in the rules are the trademarks or service marks of their respective owners. So the huge thing is just verifying this out, just making everything clear. That's really what this is getting down to, is putting clarity into their filings. And if we didn't think that something was up before, this is definitely saying, okay, well, they're starting to prepare themselves because something bad might be occurring. And when we talk about bad, we're talking about AMC and GME squeezing and all these hedge funds having to pay a lot of money up front. But the one that I really want to hone in on, and this is the biggest one out of all of essentially the rule changes that they want to look at, is proposal to change certain provisions relating to rule changes. So most of the times when these filings are passed, there's a certain window, let's say, between, okay, let's hear it for comments. All right, comments have been heard. We're going to do the final revision of this, and then we're going to go to the SEC to get approval. And then once the SEC has signed it, there's normally a lag period. So there's either like 5 days, 10 days, 20 days. It's different per filing kind of thing. But the NSCC really wants to change this. And we can see this here. If NSCC is proposing to delete a requirement of Rule 33 that members are limited to be given 10 business days of notice of any proposed amendment to the procedures. NSCC is also proposing to replace immediately with promptly in Rule 36 to provide that the NSCC will promptly but not immediately notify members and limited members of any proposed rule changes. NSCC believes that foregoing the requirements are not necessary or practical because, as explained below, members and limited members are already provided adequate notice of any changes or proposed changes of the NSCC's rules or procedures through the rule change process. So basically what they're saying is, y'all hear this, we're going to come out with this, hearing comments on this is long enough. Y'all don't need 10 days from when the SEC says, okay, thumbs up kind of thing to figure things out. Because if you're doing things correctly and you're providing, like it says down here, NSCC will comply and continue to comply with such notice requirements. No, which it believes are adequate. Where's my one sentence that I found here? Anyways, it was basically talking about competitiveness. So it really got down to, if you're doing things correctly, then you shouldn't have anything to worry about. If you're not doing things correctly, that's when you're going to have to worry about these kinds of things. And that's basically what this is getting down to, is if you're playing the game right, which the DTCC and NSCC and DTC want to ensure that everyone's playing the game correctly, managing their risk, because they have to protect themselves, because they're clearing a lot of Robinhoods, Webull, a lot of people's transactions on a daily basis, and they want to make sure that everyone is abiding by the rules and managing risk properly. So definitely a very interesting filing. Keep in mind, like I said, this has not been approved yet by the SEC, so we are waiting on the SEC approval. When we see the SEC approval on here, it will be stamped on here, but right now it's initially being heard for comments, and that's really what's going on with NSCC 2021-006. We are waiting for 002 to get approved. That was bumped to, I believe, June 21st is when we're going to be hearing about that, and that's the latest date that they have approval. Keep in mind, even if it gets approved on the 21st, it still has a 10-day lag period at it has a 10-day lag period at a minimum to get enacted is the best way to describe it. So what this filing 006 is looking to do is to pretty much just get rid of it, clarify some terms, and say, okay, we're crystal clear. We don't have to notify our members 10 days of, because when we make these filings, they will know about it well in advance. They have their chance to hear it for comments, and then once the SEC approves it, our members will be notified promptly, and they have to start abiding by those rules. Fair or not fair. Like, if you're playing fair, you have nothing to worry about. If you're not playing fair, then you have something to worry about. But that's what I got for you guys today. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.